Hello, everybody, and welcome, welcome. And I always begin always thanking you for coming and thanking you for being teachers because my husband and I are both teachers. It's a very hard job, and not too many people can understand or appreciate it. And I certainly do. So thank you so much. Why did you choose this workshop? And I know since the way it's set up, I can't really see you. I'm assuming you probably want to learn why and how game-based instruction helps struggling readers succeed. And let me tell you, it does. Okay, so let's move on because I want to spend time playing the games. Research shows, and I've done a huge amount of research into this. I'll just tell you, I began working with these one-to-one with these little kids with a tutoring service, just tutoring so we could buy our house, never thinking my husband and I were going to end up owning a tutoring company here in Westchester, Putnam. So I started working one-to-one with these children, struggling and struggling and struggling. And you all know what that's like. And they would not read the books. They just shut down. The anxiety goes up. I started grabbing index cards and just making up games. And they would sit down and they play. And all of a sudden I saw they were learning. So I've done a huge amount of research into game-based learning. What happens? What basically happens when game-based, the learning increases, and the interesting thing is retention increases. There's a wonderful study that was done actually right here at Hunter College using game-based. And this is what happens. My research, what I've watched, is what I think happens. The anxiety goes down because many of the children I've worked with, we all think it's dyslexia. It's not dyslexia. They haven't learned to read for some reason, and their anxiety is very high, and they don't stay focused. Or they may have ADHD, or most of us don't stay focused unless we're really interested. By playing games, the anxiety goes down, focus goes up, and the games provide purposeful, playful, serious practice. For anyone to learn, they must practice. But what child wants to practice? Playing games, they'll be practicing, they just don't know it. Are all games equal? No. When I was in one of the workshops I was doing in another place, I remember one of the teachers coming up and saying, thank you, because each deck of cards, I'll show you what happens here, is purposeful. It's very specific. And because our games address the students' needs. And so a child is not playing a game unless they specifically need that. And I'll show you exactly what that is. Okay. We call them super decks. They're purposeful and follow the needs of each child. Here's why. I keep saying my husband's a retired physics teacher. And I taught third grade, but now my PhD is actually in educational counseling. So I look at the whole child besides just the reading. We use LEARN to teach the children how to read. The L is the level. You can't teach anyone unless you know specifically what they need to learn or what they haven't learned. To help you for free, you can go right to our website. And Francis, I think, has them. Do you have them with you? Francis is probably going to give you the phonics assessment. I used to go crazy because the schools would send me. I say, I need something about this child, and they'd send me their reading at third grade, 4th month, or second grade, 5th month. I don't know what that means. It doesn't mean anything. It means on the comprehension on these questions they answered, here's where they are. So I put together following the card games because we follow Orton Gillingham, very systematic. And you immediately, within less than 5 minutes, you're going to know where each child is, what they know. And you're getting a copy now, I hope, because I can't see. And if you need more, your friends need, or whatever, just go to stronglearning.com, free resources, and download the phonics assessment. The student form, and then there's a teacher's form that you see in the little square where we actually give the answers if you're not sure yourself. Because many teachers I know myself. I would never have had courses in this unless you become a reading specialist. So most elementary school teachers, unless they're starting to put them into the colleges, haven't really had courses in all the phonemes. The next thing is engage. Engage, engage. The child who comes into class emotionally upset, or they're so scared the friends will make fun of them, or they're afraid the teacher may say something to embarrass them, or something happened at home, or they have a splinter on their way into the room, they notice, you will not engage them. And so it is critical that you engage them. And I actually just going to take out 1 minute. I did my doctoral dissertation on the antecedents of self-esteem in children. What creates the feeling of self-worth in a child? It's a perception of how you perceive your significant others perceive you. You know yourself. You walk into a room and everybody you think they think you're wonderful. You're going to feel wonderful. You walk into a room where you think, ooh, I don't know if they know me. I don't know if they like me. You feel like everyone has on black shoes and you're wearing brown. You want to just sink into a hole. Your self-esteem just plummets. Okay, teachers, sit up straight and pat yourselves on the back. Teachers are one of their students' most important, significant others, coming third behind mom and dad. You have grandparents and nannies and babysitters and people in between, but teachers, critical, especially in these young grades. And here they are when identity develops between 6 and 8, around 7, who I am, and they're learning to read. And now you have these poor struggling kids who can't read. Critical who you are. When students perceive their teachers like them, they'll work for those teachers. Just saying simple little things. I was a good try. I'm proud to be your teacher. I always knew you could do it. Just think about yourself. Did a teacher ever compliment you, sarcastic, insult you, embarrass you? It never goes away. That little scar is always there. So you can give them games. You can spend your $20,000 on some of these fancy reading programs. If the child does not feel the teacher cares about them, their feeling, their perception, remember, it's a perception. And that's going to affect how that child learns. Okay, so now let's go back to our little star. Now we have the assessment. You have the engagement. A is activate the child's mind, activate the body. How? That's your lesson. Now, I can't tell you what to teach. You're all in different school districts. Some of you are probably, or most of you, probably doing Wilson. Some may still be doing Lucy Corkin, some doing PAF. I'm not sure where you are. Where I'm going to show you how to use our program or to supplement any program. It just brings life to it. It activates the mind and the body. It gets the child engaged because it's game-based. Now we go to rehearse. Practice, practice, practice. Children that practice learn to read. It may take very long for some, but the practice is critical. How do you get them to practice, especially a struggling reader? They don't want to practice. I don't blame them. So what we did, I took my index cards. When my husband retired, he was able to now design them all on the computer. And we have them printed. And at this point, we have over 200 decks of these playing cards, and we sell them all over the country. And before I go into showing you them, they're for practice. The role of practice is so critical. New information only stays in short-term memory. I don't know, a lot of you must know this, 30 to 60 seconds or less. And that's without anyone interrupting the information. Otherwise, then it's gone if there's any interruption. That's all it stays in everyone. Everyone's the same, 30 to 60 seconds. So that's why when you read, you go, oh, yeah, I've got it. May not. Okay, it stays in the long-term memory based on your individual genetic makeup. So thank you, mother and father, if you have a good memory or you don't. Practicing moves the material from short-term memory to long-term. So it's critical to practice, but what struggling reader will practice? Okay, what are strong learning super decks? You all now, let me see if the next, okay, I'm going to tell you in a second what it is. You're going to be playing the regular decks of cards. That's all it is. And each deck focuses on one phoneme. Like you see the bottom example that you have one deck says it's the long vowel. And that's for teaching phonics, the long vowel digraph. Two vowels go walking. First one does the talking. And there's another example, and this is the hard and soft C and G. Only focuses on that. But with each deck, the children can decide. The teacher hands them the deck because the teacher is going to know from giving them the assessment which deck they need. They then decide up to 15 different games. Then they decide what to play. These are the pictures here were actually taken in our office over the years of kids. And these two boys, I think, were playing Showdown. No one in my classes, they never know each other because it's a tutoring company and they come from all different districts. But the games, you pull together immediately and you relax and it's just fun. Okay, you can play Go Fish, Memory, War, and Bingo, and 10 more. Okay, what I actually did, I just out of my own curiosity, we took out of the hundreds and hundreds of kids, we just randomly pulled different kids, their files, and just to see how many hours it took them to get up to grade level. And it's a chart, and we unfortunately can't spend too much time going over it. It's on my website. You can find it and can go into more detail if you're interested in what happens. What the blue is when the children started with us. And obviously they're going to school. So they were with Wilson, many for many years. And we actually took them and we tell the grade level they're at when they started. And we started the card games with them every week. And it's only an hour a week. And the children, our homework was here, take home the deck of cards and play any game you want at home. That's your homework. 15 minutes a day, play a game. The ones who practiced, and they did this every single day at home too, and the parents kept records, they just shot up because they were practicing. The whole thing is to get that anxiety down, focus, to get that attention, and keep going over the same thing. Here we go. They follow, as I mentioned before, our super decks follow Orton-Gillingham approach. And they may be used alone to teach. I've worked here with kids who just were learning to read and they just started, or they can enrich any other reading program. There's a local district here, and one of the moms knows about all these decks because her own children came here. And she loved them. But the district would only buy Wilson, Foundations, and PAF. And she said to me, she got the school finally to say, yes, they'll buy something other than that. So she brought this in, and she said it got to the point that the kids came in and they were like, are we playing? Because you say to them, do we do any reading? No. They don't realize it, and they're reading. They relax and they read. We're setting up a program for teenagers. Anyone can join. It's for 13 through 19-year-olds to become teachers, to help younger students through playing games. And they're going to be part of it. And we're putting this whole program together because it's not only going to help the younger children and again have a wonderful role model, and they'll be playing games. It's also going to help the teenagers because a lot of them still struggle, and it's going to refresh their memories and go through it again. And it's a whole different approach. It's not sitting, going through one of the programs. You're playing and you just learn. You see, I call it unlimited, purposeful, playful practice makes reading happen because it's game-based. And as I'm telling you, all these pictures on the front, These are all our students throughout the years. And they would come in and the parents would say they couldn't wait because they were coming in to play. Now, you open it up. Just open it up so you have it. You see the whole inside. Go to I'm going to just go through the different games and tell you what's available for phonics and fluency. So I do a fluency with every phonics deck. So there you can apply it. And let me tell you, kids panic. They see more than the one word on a card. And once they start within one game, and the games take 10, 15 minutes, they've relaxed and they see they can do it. It's not going into a book. Okay, so it's in front of you. Go to the upper left corner, beginning phonics and fluency super decks. Okay, do you see on the upper left, it begins with rhyming, then alphabet. You'll know which game to choose once you do the assessment. You know immediately, or you may know anyway from other assessments. Okay. Each game you can buy individually, a la carte. You want just this one or that. Many individuals buy just the individual games. If you buy, you see in the bottom right-hand corner, 12 decks in the beginning phonics assortment. If you get that, you save money. You save $35. It says it up here. Instead of $155 to buy all of them separately, you could get all 12 for $119.88. I have to tell you, it's one of the best sellers. But they buy it with a few other assortments, other things, because you just save money. And before you know it, I know myself, I have them all over the room, and my own tutors, they grab this one or they grab, you just need them. One of the teachers one day at one of these conferences said to me, I feel like I'm in a candy store. I just don't know what to choose. And I said, if you can buy one of the assortments because it's cheaper and you have it all. I want you just to look at the long vowel, VCE words right in the middle. It says hop and hope. That particular game, I put the VCE, the pair. Oh, let me just tell you, every deck is made up of 48 playing cards, 24 pairs. So every single deck has a pair, 24 pairs. And most of them are simply the same word. Like if you look at anything else, you'll just see single words. There's another one of those cards in there with that word, and they're just pairs. And that's the games. A lot of them you're looking for matching, whether it's goldfish or crazy eights or any of them. The one I did for long vowels, I put in the CVC with the VCE because I find that so difficult. They seem to learn the vowel digraphs quicker. But this one, the pair is, let's say you're playing Go Fish and you both have 5 cards and you have hop in your hand. And if you get a pair, they give it to you and you take it out. We'll go through all the directions in a few minutes. This little girl, she was 4th grade. Oh my goodness, she was struggling so. And I said, I have hop, H-O-P. Do you have hope, H-O-P-E? And she sat and she said, yes. Oh, is that the magic E? I said, yeah, that's what happens. Oh, that's what they've been talking about? And that was it. She went next. She said, I have fine. Do you have fin? She went from one to the next. So that particular game, Mike, it helps so much with that concept because it's just so hard for so many of them. Okay, now go straight across to where it says Advanced Phonics and Fluency Super Decks. Okay, go to where all the orange, the top other quarter of the page, the right quarter. I call them Advanced Phonics because many times they don't learn these until you get up to those diphthongs. And this comes a little later. Here, again, you have 12 decks. I introduce the C and the G very hard for them to remember. And the other one that's really tough is the open and closed syllables. But when you play, memory is fabulous with this one to play memory. And the other game, again, Go Fish, they love. So you say, I have kit. Do you have 10? I have 2. Do you have lip? Or you may have the 10. I have 10. And under it, I show the word. So the child knows they're going for kit. And that's the pair. Okay, others, it's all the same words again. And again, you can buy this, all 12 decks, going right through my last 2 decks, or last 3. The last 3 are prefixes, suffixes. And the other one is 3-syllable and then 4- and 5-syllable words. Children who are struggling, they'll say to me, I want to play with them. I want to play with them. And what I did, I chose every single word because every syllable follows one of the Orton-Gillingham rules that they had in the beginning decks or here. When you go to any deck here, it will never give you words or sentences beyond where you are at that deck, but it will include everything that you've learned following Orton-Gillingham. It's just so you can keep practicing and practicing. Okay, let's go on now to the bottom left. Go to the bottom left. The yellow, you'll see everything's in yellow, bottom left and bottom right. These are all your fluency, because I found that when I was working with just the phonics, just the words, they would go to apply it, couldn't remember it. They could do it here, but they would still struggled, and I just had to say one little word and they would get it. But I felt, okay, now they've got to apply it into a sentence before going into a book, because I saw the minute I would give them a full sheet of something or a book, panic, that anxiety and I lose them. The focus is off. Here, everyone follows. It will have, it's like, for example, look at the R control. One of the sentences there for the R control is, Mark saw the shark that barked in the dark. And you have to say it. They love it because many of them are tongue twisters I put together, and they have to keep saying it, asking, does anyone have this? And no matter which game they're playing, they're all saying these words over and over and over again. And they're children and they want to have fun, and they do have a good time. Here, the beginning fluency are only 8 packs, not 12, because I left out, obviously, the alphabet, the rhyming, and the 2 consonant decks, and began with CVC. Now, if you move on here, all the advanced, again, here's all your advanced, and it gets my sentences. Some of them I only did rhymes. I did maybe old ones like Humpty Dumpty, sat on something wherever it would fit in, and then come up with a totally different ending. And it's so cute. They sit there and they go, doesn't end like that, really. But they get it. They get into it because they're focused. Again, money saving. Now, surprise quiz. Sorry, couldn't resist. True or false? Does purposeful, playful practice turn struggling readers into readers? Yes. But what struggling reader wants to practice? They don't. I used to have kids would stand on my door coming into my office, and they go, I'm not coming in if we have to read. I go, want to play? Want to play games like we did last time? Oh, yeah. That was it. And they'd leave. Mom would say, so what'd you do? We just played. We didn't have to read at all. And these kids were doing beautifully. Okay. So the answer, what struggling reader wants to practice? Playing games with super decks. Now, my last thing that we put together, and people have asked for this and this is also selling. Because it works. Turn to the back of your little brochures. Turn to the back. These are phonemes. I took each phoneme and I put together a combo pack. And in each combo pack, there are 20 of them, which I'm going to show you in a minute. There's 20 different phoneme combo packs, short vowels, long, VC. And in each one, there's one phonics deck, just like I've been showing you here. There's one fluency deck, the combine, the pair, and then there's 10 downloadable lessons. And the lessons, like here's for the long vowel. So you would receive the phonics long vowel digraph deck. You'd receive the fluency with all the sentences using long vowels. And then you also receive a story, very short stories, a play that is the identical story in play form. This one happens to be from the long vowel digraphs, the Tiger Tuesdays soap boat. Tiger is the main character in all the stories. And that also comes with this. You'll learn, and you even get paper puppets. It's Tiger and his whole family. And he decides to be part of a contest at the neighborhood pond, and they all have to make their own boats for a race. And he gets this idea. He's making his out of soap. And of course, it turns into bubbles. And the kids just think this is the funniest thing. And the mess that ended up because of his soap boat. Meantime, they're reading long vowels over and over and over again. And then there are writing things like Phonics Fun. Tiger made a boat out of, and they have to decide OA or EA. And they have to sit and then think about what is the EA sound? What is the O? And that goes with that. Do you remember? That has to do with comprehension. We work on comprehension with the stories, and I also introduce vocabulary. All 5 pillars of reading are all part of this program, besides Orton Gillingham. Here's one from the Advanced Phonics, the C and G again. Here, same thing, the play, the story. In the more advanced phonics, instead of just asking questions for comprehension, I have the children in the first box draw a picture. What happened in the beginning, the middle of the story, the end. Let them walk through, let them think through, tell the story again. One of the best ways of learning. That's history. You're telling a story. So they keep telling stories. And then the 4th box is, what happens next? What do you think? And then compare with different kids in the class are thinking what would happen next and why. These 2 little boys, when we do the plays, we set up a microphone, we put in scenery. If you ask us, we'll find where all our scenery is. We can send you that you can put it on a whiteboard or something behind them. Don't memorize the lines. They have their parts. They read them. Remember, the focus is practice in reading. The fluency is wonderful reading plays. It's just, that is amazing. And there's even their expressions, but they don't have to panic. I say, no, you can have the book right in front of you. You don't have to memorize it. And so that's that. Now, again, we have 20 phoneme combo packs. And right through the multisyllabic 4 or 5 syllable challenge words. And it's all in the back of your catalog. You'll see they're all listed. The price list is right there. The combos are all in the middle. Now, every advanced and every beginning has a story, has these 10 activities in these combos. So you get it all. You can buy the phonemes, these combo packs, just the beginning, and you'll get all your beginning phonics and fluency and all the downloadables at a much better price. And you'll save, I see, $160. Basically, you get all the downloadables for free. You can do just the advanced phonics and advanced fluency and all the activities, or you can combine them. And I have to say, the price, whether you need it or you could share it with other teachers, the price of this is unbelievable because you end up saving almost $300. You end up spending $380, less than $400, and you have every deck, phonics, fluency from beginning, advanced, and you have over 200 activities with all the stories and the plays and everyone has a word find and a crossword puzzle. It just, there's a lot in there. but that's really one of the best sellers, and a lot of the assortments. Or you pick individually which ones you'd like. Next, ta-da, Francis, are you around? We're going to play. We're going to play bingo. So everyone, do me a favor and just take out a pen, pencil,